Hello, hello, and welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, I'm Topher. And for those of you who don't know and just randomly decided to click on my video, welcome to the channel. I'm Topher. Thank you for stopping by. So we're here to do a reaction, and we're diving back into the Untamed. We're diving into episode 20. And yeah, episode 19 ended with Homegirl being haunted and losing her mind, and me almost kind of sort of wanting to feel bad for her, but my heart just won't let me. My heart just like, no, Topher, just let it go, let it go. So I'm hoping that whatever ghost or spirit or person she feels is lurking behind her at the end of episode 19 is finally gonna snatch her up and get her off my screen permanently. So we're gonna dive in and just see. Oh, that episode flew by. Lord, that was so damn short. I mean, it's the same length as all the other episodes, but it just flew by. Okay, so let's see. We started off where we left off last episode with Homegirl, who we do not like, getting haunted, losing her damn mind, and it seemed to just be an effect of Wuxian on the rooftop playing this magic flute. Drive it, and I don't know, because we were jumping back and forth between her and Wang, so I don't know if what he was seeing was actually like after everything that happened to her, and then like her body was being puppeteered to haunt him in that moment, or if he was just seeing illusions of her while she was also over here seeing illusions and being, you know, whatever, before she killed herself. I will say I won't say unhappy, but it wasn't as satisfying of a death for her as I was hoping for. Like, there's something about seeing her just worked down to the point of this, and I don't know if it was her getting so mentally and emotionally worn down to the point of desperation where she's like, I'm just going to end it at this point, or if the flute was puppeteering her, brainwashing her, and she just had no control over her faculties anymore, to the point where she's like, okay, he's kind of playing the flute and guiding her to hang herself. I don't know which option it is. It was seeming more like it was she was reaching this point of just sheer desperation, like, I don't know how to escape this at this point, and you know, the only way out she saw was, okay, well, I'm gonna go end it. That's the way it was looking like. And yeah, there was just something not as satisfying about that. Like, seeing her worked down to the point where she feels like she needs to end it herself, like, that just did not feel it. I don't know, it feels kind of icky. It doesn't feel like yes, I wanted her gone, don't get me wrong, I'm not feeling bad for the character in any way, shape, or form, but like, there's just, I don't know, I was hoping like we're gonna throw her ass off of, like, I wanted her to know that it was coming and not really be like, I'm at my wit's end, I'm at such a desperate place where I'm just gonna end it myself. Like, I didn't want her to end it herself. I wanted someone to throw her ass off a cliff, throw her into a volcano, something. It just, I don't know. Her untimely demise just, it left me wanting more, I guess. Like, it wasn't as satisfying as I was hoping, but I am glad that hopefully she will not be on my screen anymore. But you know, this show is full of all kinds of flashbacks, and people come back from the dead, and we are all kinds of puppeteers and whatnot, so who knows, Wuxian might start playing his damn dark flute and she might pop up on my screen again, in which case I'm like, Lord Jesus, please don't. But who knows, but for right now she is gone, so thank the heavens. Yeah, Wuxian was striking with a vengeance. He came for zero survivors. The only person that was left alive on that compound was Wenjing, and she was down in the prison. I don't know if that was Wuxian doing that purposefully, like he knew she was there, it's like, okay, I'm gonna leave her alone, or if it was just a matter of she was locked up in this cell and just like out of reach of his magic, or just he didn't have focus any attention on her. He's focusing on all the guards and whatnot. I don't know, I'd like to think that he knew she was there and it was an intentional thing to leave her alone because of how much she has helped him and how much she's helped him and his family throughout the series, and the relationship between him and her brother. So like I'm hoping that it's a conscious thing to just kind of leave her be and like, okay, I'm not going to make you kill yourself or do any other nonsense. You're fine, baby girl. But yeah, he did not come to play. Changing talismans to draw evil instead of repel it. Out here conjuring spirits and specters and ghosts and goblins and ghouls and all kinds of plagues and this, that, and I'm like, Lord, he is wrathful. Which, you know, understandable. This clan decimated what had been his home for a good portion of his life, killed the surrogate parents that he had, made his brother and sister essentially orphans, and have been causing all manner of mayhem and mischief all around. Plus, they threw his ass into a damn burial mound. So, like, I get it. You want some sort of revenge. Plus, the sword was talking to him last episode, like, do you want your revenge? Do you want to seek revenge? Do you want to make them pay? So, clearly, there's some other things at play here. So, I don't know how much of this personality change, like, I don't know what effect this dark smoke vapor has, because it seems similar to like the darkness that's emanating off the pieces of the Tiger Talisman, or you know, or whatever it was called, that we were seeing earlier in the series. It's that same sort of dark energy, so I don't know if it's connected to that necessarily, or if that's just the generic darkness, generic thing they use to simulate, okay, there's some sort of darkness happening here. There's, you know, there's dark-sided. So I don't know how much of the energy is like if it's a possession type deal. Is this darkness taking over his body? Is it something that's just unlocking a darkness that's in him? Like, okay, everybody's got good and bad inside of them. Is this darkness just something that, rather than implanting darkness or making him evil, is it something that's just like, okay, we're gonna just unlock this, and we're just gonna, instead of you keeping the evil thoughts and whatnot locked away, we're just gonna let them flourish and just thrive? Is it something like that? Or is it like, hey, no, we're doing a complete personality switch, we are reversing everything that you had going on in there? I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to be a possession thing. I don't know if it's just influence. I don't know. We'll see. But either way, Wuxian is feeling and behaving some type of way, and there's a very distinct difference, and you could feel it watching the interactions. Like, yeah, you could kind of sense it when you saw Wuxian using this demon flute and killing everybody, yes. And then when he finally confronted Wen Julio and Wen Kao in that last little set of scenes there, you could see the difference in him, just the way he's standing, the way he's interacting. Like, yes, he's always had this sort of playful, kind of naughty way of talking, almost kind of flirtatious way of talking with whoever he's engaging, whether it's been someone who's on his side or someone he's fighting against, anybody, whatever. He's always had this sort of playful nature and way that he's talking, and just kind of antagonistic, but not like you know what I'm saying? But like here with that last little scene there, like it was a very different kind of playfulness. It almost reminds me of, name I can't remember right now, but crazy homeboy who we arrested and then came back, blinded sweet boy, and then killed everyone at the temple on the rooftop before, you know, running away. Kind of reminds me of that sort of level of craziness, where it's like, and I even mentioned when we were first introduced to that character, where it's like, you know, there's some aspects of him that remind me so much of Wuxian, where it's like they're just the same person that just ended up taking different paths, where Wuxian had like guidance and goodness, so he just ended up being rambunctious and, you know, kind of mischievous. This guy didn't have that sort of good influence, and he just went off to this awful, evil place. Now it feels like Wuxian is kind of converging towards that same path that Homeboy went down in life, and it's like, oh, this is interesting. But you could just feel the change in his demeanor, where it's like, it's still playful, but there's a lot more malice behind it, if that makes sense. So then when Lan Zhan and Chang came busting down through the window, killed Wen Julio, which, you know, sad face, because again, I enjoy Wen Julio's character. He's been a very interesting character, and I've seen discussions in the comment section. I've had a couple discussions, and he just seems very interesting because he seems like this entire time someone who just has, like, runs by a code of honor, if that makes sense. Like someone who is very upstanding and lives his life by a code of honor, and someone you wouldn't expect to see associating with just the evil shenanigans and the evilness that we've seen in the Wen clan. So the fact that he has been makes it seem as though like he was potentially repaying some sort of debt, or maybe there are people being held hostage and he is trying to keep them alive. Like, it's felt like there is something that is driving him to be part of this clan and stay with this clan and protect this clan, because if it wasn't like something being held over him, I just don't see him having any part with this clan. So he's just been a very interesting character, and I wanted to see more of him. I wish we could see more of him, but you know, we still got 30 something episodes left, so there's plenty of time for us to have another flashback, and you know, while he show us when he was alive and see what he was like there, potentially get some other bits and pieces to fill in the storyline. Maybe we may not go that route, that's okay, but like his character was just interesting to me. So I understand he did bad things, and I understand that he was probably going to die, but still sad to see him die. I'm more sad to see him die than I was to see Homegirl die or other. So clearly I enjoyed him. But yes, Lan Zhan and Chang came floating down and killed Wen Julio, and then they were just talking with Wuxian, and you could see just the difference in attitude in Wuxian. And he was able to, I don't necessarily know that he fooled Chang, but I think he was able to say enough things to distract Chang from probing anymore, because Chang was coming in hot with the questions. Where you been? What's going on? They said you were thrown in a barrel mound, this, that, and the other. It's like, well, if I was thrown in a barrel mound, I couldn't survive. No one can survive. I wouldn't be here. Well, where were you? Did they keep you at this jail? Did they keep you here? Blah blah blah. Like, and he's coming in hot with the questions, and Wuxian is doing a good job of just kind of navigating his way between the questions. So he's not really giving any answers. He's like, if I said that I did this and I found this cave and this magic book, blah 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 blah, would you believe that story? And it's like, there's no magic caves, there's none of this in real life, come on, blah blah blah, where were you? And he's just doing this great job of just avoiding the question. He's not answering the questions. He's just like, boop boop boop, nope, not gonna answer your question. And all this time Lan Zhan's just sitting there examining, just like, he's not saying a damn word. He's just taking everything Wuxian's saying in, and he's like, you know what? Something is not right here. Something is not right. And he's trying to piece together the things. And it's just like, something here is not right. This is not my baby. This is not my Wuxian, okay? So then finally, Lan Zhan starts engaging, starts asking questions, and you could see again just the distinct difference in the way that Wuxian was addressing him. First, he called him out of a completely different name than he ever has, because he's been very casual. That's one thing about their dynamic in the early parts of the episode. Lan Zhan was very formal with names, and Wuxian has been very casual. He's like, hey, best buddy, blah blah blah. And Lan Zhan was like, hey, what happened? Where you been? And he's like, second child Lan. And I'm like, the fuck did this formal name come from? Excuse me. And then he starts calling some other. I'm like, where are these names coming from? Like, we went through the full gambit. I think you guys told me like that each character has like 3 names. They have at least 2, but I think you guys said 3. Because I feel like Wuxian called him 3 different names throughout that one conversation. So like we went through the whole gambit of like super formal to informal, blah blah blah. I'm like that's just not Wuxian. And even when he was kind of being a little, not really flirtatious, but just the way he was addressing Lan Zhan, it just felt like the flirtation wasn't there. That was the issue. There was no flirtation. There was no sense of joy in him. It felt very hollow, stripped back, and acting fantastic. Actors are doing a fantastic job. The fact that he can give this character such depth that from one episode to the next I can visually see, and I can see in his performance that, hey, normally you are this, but right now, even though you were saying things that Wuxian would say and has said in the past, the emotion and the energy behind what you're saying is not the same. You are not the same Wuxian that we had over here. Like, it's showing us that there is a difference, even though the characters may not understand the full scope of what's different. It's showing that there is a difference. Fantastic acting. But yeah, like his interactions with Lan Zhan, they lacked that flirty playfulness that we've seen so many times, even when it's not a romantic scene or, you know, a shipping. Like, Wuxian has just always had this light, carefree energy about him, even in the worst time. He was getting his ass beat before they threw him in the burial mound. He getting his ass beat by these guards, and with threats of, let's cut his arm off, let's kill him, this, that, and the other. And he's still out here making jokes, still out here cracking jokes, this, that, the other, because that was Wuxian. This is a completely different entity. But then there are those moments where it's like, it was almost like he would come back into reality, and it's like, okay, that's one we recognize. Like when they were at the altar to Cheng's parents, and they were saying little prayers. He's like, you asked me to protect your children, and I have. Please rest in peace. Like, that felt like, okay, that is Wuxian. That is Wuxian talking to these people, saying, hey, they're okay. I handled my promise. But then other interactions we're seeing, it's like, that's not the Wuxian. So it's like, I don't know, again, the influence of this dark energy. Is this dark energy just unlocking a darkness in him? Is it possessing him? Is it brainwashing him? I don't think it's a full brainwash, because unless it's a brainwash and then it like releases control, or he's fighting the control, because there are times when I can see the normal Wuxian just kind of peeking through. Like when Lan Zhan and Cheng first came down, you could see in his face where it's like, oh, hey, these guys. And it's like, it felt like we were about to get a warm welcome, but then we got into the conversation and whatnot, and just this sketchy Wuxian, like, it's just very interesting. It's very interesting, and I don't know where it's going. But I'm very, very fascinated. I'm just kind of hopping all over the place. We did have the little bit with Wenjing, and Cheng basically saying, hey, if you leave the Wen clan, and she's like, what can you do? And he didn't answer. Basically, he's trying to get her to leave so he can keep her safe, protect her, because he likes her. He likes her, and on some level, she likes him. And I've been shipping it since the first time I saw them together, and I would love for them to be able to have a love connection and be together. Unfortunately, it just does not appear to be in the cards, because she has too many other obligations. I don't think she wants to be part of the Wen clan. I don't think she's shown time and time again that she's got really no desire to be involved in all these evil shenanigans. But she's doing it because, I mean, it seems to be the part of the clan that she was born into, and she's doing it to protect her brother and her family, her village, all that kind of stuff. She's trying to keep them safe, and while she said, Cheng, you can probably keep me safe, but you can't keep all those other people safe. So, unfortunately, I can't leave my clan, because I've got a duty to keep them safe. I'm not out here trying to deal with the king, father, whatever. I don't care about none of that shit. But I gotta keep my baby brother safe, and I gotta keep my villages and all that kind of stuff. So unfortunately, I can't run away with you. So again, I would love them to be together, but unfortunately, they can't. It's just not in the cards for them. When Xiao is finally dealt with, Lord again, Wuxian was a vengeful bitch, because he I don't know what pox or curse he put on Wen Cao, but Lord, when like I saw the hands, I'm like, okay, maybe I thought his hands were just like kind of stained with blood, because we saw him thrashing about when he stabbed girlfriend with the sword, which again might have just been in a hallucination, but like I figured, okay, he's thrashing about whatnot, and his hands just might be stained with blood, or he might have got some cuts or whatnot. But when that hood came off and his scalp was snatched and clawed and his face was covered, I'm like, Lord, what did you do to him? What pox did you send on him? What banshee did you have scream in his ear? Like, what did you do, girl? Damn, you fucked his shit up. Good for you, but damn, because that was a fine ass man, y'all. He might have been evil and he might have got on my nerves, but that was one fine ass man. And Wuxian just snatched that fineness away with a quickness. Oh my god, damn, vengeful. They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Well, clearly they ain't never met Wuxian coming back from the burial mountains, because Lord, this man is not playing. He's not playing. He's not playing. Lord, 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 Lord. Let's see. What else? Already talked a little bit about the conversations, Lan Zhan and Wuxian. And how Lan Zhan, again, he can see that there are things wrong. He can see there are things wrong, and Wuxian is not answering. He's just avoiding it, and he's saying enough things to kind of rally Cheng, and like, hey, this right here is a matter of our clan, so please leave it to us. Why are you trying to make enemies of us right now? You've never wanted to, blah blah blah. And he's just saying things that Wuxian just wouldn't say. So Lan Zhan's like, okay, well, yes, technically this is your clan's matter. Yes, technically, like, I'm not trying to make enemies of blah blah blah, so I guess I will go. And he walks out, but you can see throughout the entire episode, you can see just the deep concern in Lan Zhan's face. Like last episode, when he came onto the scene and strolled up and he's like, kneel, and all y'all panties got wet. You could see the genuine concern in Lan Zhan's face, because he's like, where is my husband? Where is he at? Like, genuinely, I need my man. And then here you can see the concern where it's like, okay, this is his body, but this ain't him. What is going on? What happened? How do I fix this? And you're just seeing all of this. He's not saying a goddamn word, but you can see it written all over his face. Because he is such a stoic character. Me. Maybe that's why I can kind of understand some of his lack of verbal communication, because I'm like, yeah, same way. Like I can relate to that in a sense. Yeah, and I want to say there was one point. I don't know where it is. But I want to say there was one point during their conversation before they got deep in, and Wuxian was like being evasive and whatnot, that I think I saw Lan Zhan smile when, like, in the room with Wuxian or something. Because again, he's worried. He's worried. He may not use his words outright and say, I am worried about this, I am concerned, but it is written all over his face and all over his actions. This man is in love, and he's worried about this man. He's worried about his husband out here wilding and acting up. Yeah. I'm just kind of scrubbing through the episode to see if there's anything else I missed. We had the little reunion there at the end with Big Sister, which is nice. It's sweet. Feel bad for the poor people out there who are getting their treatments and they're just writhing on the floor in pain while these two are just staring at each other. But again, I get it. It's a nice, tender moment reuniting, so I'll let it be. But yeah, then the episode ended. It was very, very, very. It went by very fast. Like boom, boom, boom. Very entertaining. There were points when, again, the audio was muted out and the captions just were like, nah, we ain't captioning shit. And I don't know if that was because the captions are coming from YouTube, so the captions might. I was under the assumption that like the channel was inserting the captions, like, okay, we're gonna type up the captions, blah 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 blah. But they might have just had like auto caption turned on, so then since there's no audio at that point, it's just not captioning anything, maybe. Or maybe they just don't want us to know what's saying because censorship, who knows, whatever. But anyway, still got the general idea of what's happening there. But yeah, I'm interested to see where the rest of this tale is going to lead us. And we still have so many more episodes, so lots of development left to happen. But I'm going to stop babbling. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on notifications to be notified when all my shenanigans get posted. If there's anything else you'd like me to react to, be sure to leave it down in the comments. I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, you're more than welcome to join us over on Patreon. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to if you want to. I'll see you guys in my next video. Love ya. Mwah.